Hey, real quick, Browns fans, before we kick off the show, I just want to wish you all a happy new year. The holidays are a wonderful time, but I know they can also be a difficult time for many. If you're feeling down or you just need a mental, emotional, or even spiritual boost, talk therapy could be just what you need. I recommend today's sponsor, BetterHelp, because you don't need to schedule an appointment and go sit in someone's office. BetterHelp lets you coordinate therapy sessions on your time, and you can do them in ways that's comfortable for you. Face chat, voice call, or even just a text message conversation with your therapist. Start the new year right. Head to betterhelp.com/dogs and get 10% off your first month. Like I said, if you feel yourself struggling right now, that's totally normal. We deal with a lot of anxiety in my house, and sometimes you just need a professional to talk to. But you deserve to feel better. So why not try BetterHelp? Get 10% off your first month. Give it a try for a month, and if it's not for you, just cancel. No harm, no foul. But if it is for you, it could completely change your life. You'll never know till you try, and you deserve to be happy. So invest in yourself today at betterhelp.com/dogs.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast presented by Omaha Steaks. Josh all alone with you today, and a couple things that I want to discuss today. One, I want to talk about some leadership things that I saw online on Twitter posted from Browns press conference that just gives some real insight, at least for me anyway, into how this team is preparing for the playoff game this week and just the mindset and overall culture that this team has right now, which is completely different than anything I've ever seen in my lifetime being a Browns fan. And the other thing I want to talk about today is I want to shine some more spotlight on our boy, DeAnthony Bell, Browns starting safety, filling in for Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill as those guys. Delpit's on IR, Thornhill's in and out of the lineup with injuries all season. So we've had to have some other guys on the depth chart step up, and DeAnthony Bell has done that. And he's a good friend of this show. We talk to him every week. He was on our show a couple times here in the past. We hope to have him on again in the off season. Just an overall good dude. So there was an article written about him that I want to go through and just highlight. I really do. I think he deserves that, and we'll have a little fun with it. I do want to apologize. I feel like the other night on our live episode, I was not feeling well. I was very sick. I was just holding it together, doing what I could for the podcast, just being there, trying to give my 2 cents as much as I could, but I did not feel well at all. And I don't like doing shows like that. I don't enjoy feeling like I'm putting out a subpar product for you guys, because if you've been watching this show, listening to the show on audio, following this podcast for a while now, we appreciate you. We love you. We love what this podcast platform has brought to just everybody involved. The community we've been able to build surrounding this thing is so special to us that, whenever I just feel like I do a crap job, it eats at me a little bit. I don't like it. I do not like that feeling. So coming back with some more content today, really wanted just to focus on these two things, and that's what I'm here to do. So before I dive into that, make sure you guys follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on audio, please subscribe on whatever platform you're on, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, whatever you're listening to. We appreciate all of our audio listeners as well. And last but not least, if you want more Dawgs content for the off season, for the playoffs, the off season, moving into the next regular season, year round, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Weekly after hours bonus episodes, get access to the private Discord, which is a ton of fun. Fantasy leagues, which just wrapped up. We just announced all our champions, sent out all our swag to all the winners and everything like that. So that was a ton of fun. Fantasy leagues will start back up in August. And yeah, it's just a great community of Browns fans worldwide. You want to hear perspective from Browns fans around the world, jointhedogs.com. There's some amazing people in that group. So like I said, I've got a video I want to play here, and I'll play the video. We'll listen to, this is a video of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Browns linebacker, giving just a little taste of what the Browns are doing behind the scenes this week that is, one, different from what they did during the regular season, and two, is completely different than what this team has ever done in the past. So just go ahead and listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
The biggest indicator is just doing more. I think we've just in the first 2 days of this week, we see people coming in a little bit earlier, staying in a little bit later. More text messages. Hey, look, make sure you watch this. Hey, I saw this on with the running back, or I saw this with the quarterback. Make sure y'all key this, right? I think that is the biggest indicator, is just people doing it. It's nothing that they're saying. It's nothing that the coaches are saying. None of that, right? I think the emphasis this week is on the action, right? The word is important, right? But if the word doesn't become manifest, that becomes vain. So
the word is important. If the word doesn't become manifest, then it becomes vain. I mean, this is a third-year player in the league, and you watch the video, and I'm not like a psychologist. I'm not into all that kind of stuff, but there is something to the body language of JOK as he's standing there and he's answering these questions to the press. He looks like a leader. You watch him on the field, you see his play, and the dude is an absolute leader on the field. He is a playmaker, and he is a rallying point for this defense on so many plays. But the way he was holding himself in the press conference, the way he's answering the questions, he exudes confidence, leadership. He's accountability, and that's what all these players are doing on this team, not just on the defense, on the entire team. Everybody has stepped up into their role, whether it's, Jerron Christian, a former practice squad player for, the 49ers, who's now our starting left tackle, or JOK, the starting, linebacker who was drafted to be an absolute stud on this Browns team. So, and it goes to guys like DeAnthony Bell, who we'll get to here in a minute. Before we move on, Browns fans in Ohio, if you have not yet signed up for Caesars Sportsbook, now is the perfect time to do so ahead of the NFL playoffs. New customers will get their first bet on Caesars up to $1,000 when signing up with our promo code DAWGS1000. That's DAWGS, DAWGS 1000, all one word. That means if your first bet loses, you get your full wager returned as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Caesars offers daily profit boosts as well as Caesars rewards credits on every wager, which can be redeemed for bonuses, sports tickets, and other VIP experiences. So sign up with our code DAWGS1000, get your first bet covered, and get access to Caesars rewards. If you're ready to join Caesars Sportsbook, go download the app right now, register with our promo code DAWGS1000, make sure your first bet is covered. This offer is only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer to see if you can qualify. This may not be the role that you were brought here to play, but this is the role you're in now. And we need you to fill that role because we don't have anybody else to do it, and it's your turn to shine. And these guys have embraced that. With all the injuries this season, we have documented it extensively. It is known. It is insane. The Browns should not be where they are right now. Any other team, and I've said this, any other team in the NFL that would experience the amount of important key injuries the Browns have faced this season would not be 11-6, going into the playoffs, locked into the number 5 seed, had a chance or a shot at one point for the division title. It's insane what the Browns have done this season and what they've had to go through to get there. So hats off to these guys. I love what he said about, you see guys coming in a little bit early, staying a little late, sending a couple extra text messages to guys, after practice and when we're out of the building. Hey, I was looking at this. Check this out. Hey, I saw something on this film. You might want to take a look at what the quarterback does here, or the running back, blah, blah, blah. This is a team. This is a team. When the communication is not being initiated solely by the coaching staff to get these guys geared up and ready to go, to get information processed and passed around, when the players are taking it upon themselves to do that, man, that is awesome. And we will shift now into the DeAnthony Bell talk, because I want to say we'll have, at least I don't see why we won't. We should be able to have DeAnthony Bell back on our show here in the offseason, and we will talk to him about this Browns defense, about the team, about the mentality, what he saw compared to his first season in 2022 as an undrafted rookie with this team to now. Just what is the mindset difference? Because there is definitely a culture shift and a mindset difference that this team has now that we didn't see in the past. This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Browns fans, I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, a happy new year, everybody stayed safe, and most importantly, well fed. Start the new year off with a bang of big savings during the Omaha Steaks end of season event. That's right. This sales event, the 50% off site wide, is still going on as we head into the new year 2024. That's 50% off incredible steaks. Sink your teeth into the memorable butcher's cut top sirloin. That's honestly my favorite. That's the one I got for all of my family members for Christmas, and I've got it stocked up in my freezer right now to get ready for the year ahead. Just go to omahasteaks.com. Take advantage of the 50% off site-wide event still going on. And when you use our promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out, you get an extra $30 off your order. Let's fight the winter blues and celebrate the Browns playoff push with delicious and satisfying meals from Omaha Steaks. They've got the, perfectly aged, the tender, juicy steaks, burgers, decadent desserts, classic comfort meals. They're ready instantly. Seafood, brats, jumbo franks, everything. They've got so much to offer. Now for a limited time moving into the new year, they're going to extend the 50% off site-wide sale. Plus, like I said before, you get an extra $30 off when you use our code DAWGS, DAWGS at checkout. And every purchase is backed by Omaha Steaks' unconditional money-back guarantee. So let's go, Browns fans. We're in the playoffs. Let's continue to start the new year off the right way. Warm up your winter with tender steaks and hearty home-cooked favorites from Omaha Steaks. 50% off site-wide, promo code DAWGS when you check out. Get that extra $30 off your order. Happy New Year, guys, and let's enjoy this playoff run. Minimum purchase may apply. All right, so thanks to our sponsors, Omaha Steaks, everybody. We appreciate all the support we get for the show. Now I want to talk about, this piece from Ashley Bastock at cleveland.com. She did a deep dive into DeAnthony Bell. I found it super interesting, especially since, again, if you've been following the show for a few years or longer since we started, 4.5 years ago, whenever this podcast really, kicked off, DeAnthony Bell was a guy that we had on the show whenever he was trying out for the Browns, whenever he was called in. He was, there for training camp and he was trying to make the squad. We had him in during that time period, and then we had him back on the show after he made the team to talk to him. Ton of fun. We've stayed in contact. He's, helped us get tickets to games this year. Like, he's just been a really good friend, a good person. And this article was so interesting because, she talks about the journey, and he mentioned this on our show whenever he was with us. His journey to the NFL was not like most guys. When you think about rookies coming in the NFL, Ronnie Hickman's another undrafted rookie this year that came into the team and is playing meaningful time and doing big things for the Browns, out of Ohio State. Well, he's more of your typical rookie in the fact that he's, 22, 23 years old? When DeAnthony Bell came in as a rookie, he was 26 years old already because his path was so different. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you can see it here. This is the picture that she used kind of headlining the article. If you're listening, I'll just kind of describe it to you. This is an old muddy gray, blue cobalt wheelbarrow that's leaning up against, some like moss-covered siding on the side of a barn. And honestly, that's probably how most of our barns or sheds look in our backyards or wherever we live. So that's going to come into play. We'll talk about that. But, going undrafted in 2022, DeAnthony Bell was actually the first undrafted free agent to make the final roster in Cleveland while Andrew Berry was the GM here. So the first UDFA for an Andrew Berry squad in Cleveland. It's pretty cool for him. He's from Covington, Georgia, graduated from Alcovy High School, went to Albany State. He redshirted his freshman year as a wide receiver. That was clear back in 2015. Now think about it. We're in 2024 now. I almost said 23. That always takes me a while to get used to. We're in 2024 now. The 2023 season still. This was 2015 whenever he was redshirting a freshman year in college. So that's almost like, is that 8 years? 2015 to 2023? It's kind of crazy when you think about it. In 2016, he transferred to Iowa Central Community College, and that's where he switched over to defensive back. Now, I'll put this article in the description. I don't have time to go through the whole thing. Go read it. It's long, it's extensive. It's a really good deep dive into DeAnthony Bell. Talks a lot about his growing up, his youth football days, his skill set, just his competitive nature. All that stuff is in there. Really, really awesome to read. I just kind of wanted to hit the highlights though. So at community colleges, no scholarships to go around. DeAnthony Bell needed money so he could pay for school. So he decided to take some time off from school to try to work up some of the money to pay for tuition. He joined in with his dad, whose name is Anthony, and he had a construction business, mainly working concrete, and DeAnthony Bell was helping do that, hauling rocks, doing all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where that wheelbarrow, in the beginning comes into play. So the construction job, long story short, was a lot of hard work for any of us who've ever done construction. I have. I'm sure a ton of you guys have. It's definitely not the most rewarding as far as the buckaroos go whenever you're all said and done. So it was really not enough pay for what he was out there doing. So ultimately, he, as a young kid, just trying to find his way in the world, what he wanted to do. His passion was football, but, he really couldn't pay for it. But ultimately decides, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to refocus on football. And whenever he decided to go back to school, apparently I didn't know. This is something we didn't know. He, I guess, had offers from big schools like Georgia and LSU, but he had issues with credits transferring with all of his community college switching that he's already done in his college career to that point, which was not even close to being over. So he was not able to go to one of those schools. After that year away, 2018, he enrolled at Butler Community College in Kansas. Then he transferred in 2019 to the University of West Florida, and that's where he stayed to finish out his college career. 2020 rolls around, season is canceled because of COVID. So this guy is just getting kicked in the gut every which way you can possibly go, trying to find his way through football. He wants a career in football so bad. If you read the article, read the piece, it's in there a million times. From the time he was a little kid, he wanted to play football. There's a cool story in the article about, I think it was in Georgia, they're not allowed to play football until they're 8 years old. So as soon as he turned 8, his mom enrolled him in whatever youth football program was available where they were at. I guess it was like an $80 entry fee to the league, and she had just taken a pay cut at work. Money was tight for the family at the time, but they paid it. And after the first practice, I guess DeAnthony Bell went out there, I think a little 8-year-old kid, guess he got clotheslined or something at practice, got knocked down, probably got the wind knocked out of him, came home, said, I don't want to play football anymore. I don't want to do this. And his mom, who we actually got to meet, go back and check out our podcast with him. It's pretty cool. We got to meet his mom during one of them. She came on real quick, popped in, and I guess she basically said, nope, I paid the $80 for you to play in this league. You're going to play. And, looking back, he says it's a good thing she made him do that, because look where he's at now. He ended up falling in love with football just like he always thought he would. And it drove him to be where he is now. So after all of that, 2021, he finally gets a season in college where he lights it up. He's got an incredible season, 61 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. So that was 2021. 2022 rolls around, enters the draft, of course, goes undrafted. By then, he's already 26 years old. Like I said at the beginning, old for a rookie. 26, obviously not old, but it's in football terms, NFL terms, that's old to be a rookie. The Browns passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach at that time was Jeff Howard. And DeAnthony spoke super highly of Coach Howard whenever he was on our show. Couldn't praise him enough. Howard was the defensive coordinator for the West team, which was Bell's team, at the East-West Shrine Bowl when Bell was there just that offseason. So he had familiarity with DeAnthony Bell, and that's kind of how the whole thing got connected, got him into Cleveland for summer, for training camp, for all that stuff. And, he just worked his ass off, showed everybody why he deserved to be on the active roster for the Cleveland Browns, and he got it. Got it in 2022. He got it again this season in 2023. Last year he played very minimal snaps on defense, mostly special teams all year, which was awesome for him. Great to see him out there doing his thing. That's where he really specializes. This year, the role was supposed to be the same, but, with, like I said, Grant Delpit on IR, Juan Thornhill's in and out of the lineup all season long with that calf injury, just can't get right. DeAnthony Bell has played a ton of snaps for the Browns on defense, and he has done wonderful things for the Browns in a role that he was not supposed to be in. 21 tackles, 4 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions. And those 2 picks, awesome picks, because the first one was the game clincher in the end zone against the Bears that, everybody, if you were watching that game, your heart stopped and your butt puckered whenever that ball landed in the receiver's hands and it got popped up in the air at the last second. Bell grabs it, interception, game over, Browns win. Whew. Wipe the sweat off the brow on that one because it was a closer play at the end of the game than we were all comfortable with, but he comes away with his first career interception. What a memorable one for him doing it that fashion. And then, of course, this past weekend against the Bengals down in Cincinnati has the tip to himself pass, which I posted all over Twitter. He retweeted it. Totally awesome. Love that play. It was stellar. I mean, you talk about focus and concentration through the play to first see the ball, pop it in the air. He was just trying to deflect the ball, knocked it out ahead of himself, kept focus on the ball to see where it was at, followed it through, dove for it, caught it, and followed it through to the ground. It was an interception and an awesome way for that game to start. The rest of the game we don't really need to talk about because obviously the Browns didn't care, so we didn't care either. It was a meaningless game. You'll have that, although it doesn't really happen that often for us. It usually happens to us. So we enjoyed that one, and we have enjoyed watching DeAnthony Bell play football for the Cleveland Browns these last 2 years. Cannot wait for him to go out and show what he can do this weekend in Houston in a playoff game, his first ever playoff game in the NFL. Blake texted him the other day after the win and just said, congrats on your second interception, SportsCenter top 10 worthy. Good luck this week in your first playoff game. And he wrote back, said, appreciate it. The real fun starts now. And that's goes back to what JOK was saying in that press conference where this is that second season. These guys are dialed in and focused on a different level than they were in the regular season. And that's the way it should be. Regular season is a grind. You grind and you grind to even have an opportunity to play this second season, to play in the playoffs. Whenever the playoffs hit, your focus gets renewed, regenerated, and it is a whole new season. Your record, the 11-6, doesn't mean shit now. It's done. It's over. 11-6 doesn't do anything for you from here moving on. Nothing. You are 0-0. Everybody's 0-0. All that matters is 1-0 this week, and that has been Kevin Stefanski's mantra, aside from whatever it effing takes. 1-0 every week. And that's what the Browns have done, minus this last week Bengals game, which didn't matter. We had our practice squad guys out there. This week, 1-0 means everything. And that's the mentality of this team. I'm so excited to watch them go out and play this playoff game. We talked about it on the preview show the other night. Of course we're nervous. It's a playoff game. You're nervous anytime your team enters an elimination game scenario. If this were a 7-game series and this were game 1, the nerves wouldn't be so bad as a fan. You'd be like, okay, let's go out there and set the tone. If we drop this one, it's okay. We got 6 more to make it up and get out of here with the win and move on. Not in the NFL, man. This is a one and done elimination game every single week, and the Browns are in a great position to go out and take this one. Truly believe that even with 12 starters, well, I shouldn't say 12 starters, 12 guys who have been starters at different points for the Browns this season on IR right now, we still have the better roster. We still have the better team. D'Amico Ryans has done a great job in his first year head coaching for the Texans, but we still have the better coach. We have the better defensive coordinator. We can do this. We have the better studs on defense. Myles Garrett better just absolutely wreak havoc. We talked about C.J. Stroud. Not great this season under pressure. Of course he's not. He's a rookie. No rookie has won first-round rookie has won a playoff game since 2009. Let's not let him be the first one to do it since then. Let's keep that streak of first-round rookies losing playoff games alive, and then we can just move on and focus on our next opponent. But this week is going to be a ton of fun. 4:30 Saturday. Can't wait. If you guys are in the Discord, we'll be in there chatting it up with you. We'll ride the waves with you the entire game. If you haven't joined the Dawgs yet, you want to get in that Discord, you want to be in the chat for the playoff game on Sunday, join thedawgs.com, become a member, do the 7-day free trial to kick it off. You can still connect your Patreon to Discord and get in there. So you have access to that. Get into the Discord. We want to see you in there. We want to talk to you. We want to get to know as many of you as possible. It's been so much fun. So I know that was kind of a quick episode. Just wanted to do a couple hitters on some guys, JOK, DeAnthony Bell, some studs that you are going to see making plays on defense this Saturday in the playoffs. So until we come back to you guys later this week with the official preview show for the Browns-Texans wildcard weekend game, enjoy the week. Have fun prepping for this one. Playoff football is back in Cleveland. Let's go Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.